Hello friends, it's Unicorn Princess here, and I got some stuff to tell you. So, as you can probably see from the title of the video, after years of lots of unknown stuff and doctor's visits and hospital stuff, I finally have a diagnosis for what's wrong with me. Only the people very close to me have already been told, so most people don't know. But I have been formally diagnosed with fibromyalgia. This probably doesn't come as a surprise to some people who have known me for a while or have known my, the things going on with my health. I'm just going to explain to you what the specialist at the hospital has explained to me. So he told me three most interesting things about this diagnosis. One is that medically there's very little they can do, that everybody is different, everyone experiences it differently, and that I will have to basically just find the things that work for me. Two is that while he was explaining that fibromyalgia leans more on the pain side of things, chronic fatigue leans more on the fatigue, the exhaustion side of things, and that basically I am smack bang in the middle, kind of flip-flopping between both. So that's interesting. He also said that they believe that chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia are two sides of pretty much the same coin. And so it's not that I have two different things, it's that I have one thing that I just flip-flop between. So chronic fatigue is in there too. And the third interesting thing that he said about it is that it's there's not really a cure exactly, and that I will have to figure out ways to adjust my life to make it better. So it's more of a learning to live with it and make it work for me than it is a wait for a miracle cure and it will go away forever kind of deal. So I'm just going to explain first of all what fibromyalgia is. He explained that at its core it has two main factors. One is that the nerves in the body are kind of cross-wired and a little confused. So they're sending signals to the brain telling you that you're in pain all over the place, all of the time. But because there's no actual impact point, there's no damage, it's really hard to medicate for because there's no physical injury. So they can't stop the brain being sent these signals, so that's difficult. And the other thing is that it basically comes from a very long time of not being able to get restful sleep. So there are multiple different stages in sleep, and REM sleep, or REM, rapid eye movement sleep, is the level that you need to recover. It's the level that you sleep where your body goes through all of your immune system and your injuries and just starts to repair and fix everything. So if you have a long period of time where you can't get REM sleep, your body can't repair properly. So people with fibromyalgia have long term, many years worth of not getting that restorative kind of sleep. So you're kind of like a boat on the ocean, You are being battered by the sea and the wind and all the regular things that happen being a boat, but you don't have people to repair your damage, to seal up the cracks and paint it over and, all of that stuff. So essentially what I'm saying is my body is not and has not been repairing properly for a very long time, so that's why my muscles and joints hurt a lot all of the time. It's why I get headaches and migraines all of the time. It's why I bruise incredibly easily. It's why I get sick really easily. My immune system is compromised. That was a given. Another thing for me is that I was born 3 months early, which is crazy early. So my immune system was already quite compromised and quite delicate, which leaves me open to get these things more easily. So it all makes sense. When I look at it, it all makes sense. And one of the big kind of kickstarters for things like this is trauma. So, you know, trauma and long periods of like serious stress lead to not being able to sleep properly, not being able to get that restorative sleep, which in turn makes you more tired, makes you more stressed, blah blah blah, and then it's like a cycle that just goes on for a really long time, resulting in long-term health conditions. So fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue together as a combined force working against me. So how do I feel about it? I went through some motions of emotions when I found out. I was partially relieved to just understand what's going on with my body, because now I'll have a better chance of helping myself. So there was definitely some relief in there. I also got this big sense of guilt, which sounds really funny, but it's kind of occurred to me over the past little while that I am fiercely independent. I always have been. I do everything by myself. I don't like asking for help for anything ever, and that's just always the way that I have been. So being told that I have to take it easy, there will be jobs that I just can't do, there will be things that I just can't do, and I have to accept that I need to take it slower to help myself. I also need to accept that I'm probably going to have to ask for help a lot more often, certainly more than I've been doing, and that is very difficult for me. I realise that pride has something to do with that I have been proud of myself being an independent person, and that the idea of not being so independent makes me just feel like a failure. It makes me feel terrible, and I need to get over that. I'm going to work on getting over that. And the thing is that I've had a bunch of jobs over the past couple of months, and one of them I had to quit because I wasn't physically able to do it, and it was a normal job, my Five Guys job. All I was really doing was working the till and like decorating burgers, you know, preparing food. Not crazy strenuous, not at that point. And I would work like 8-hour shifts, which is a normal, regular amount of time to work. I worked 2 8-hour shifts in a row, and by the second half of the second shift, I was limping because my joints, my hip joints, just felt like they were being wrenched out, and I was in so much pain, but I wanted to do a good job, and I wanted them to like me, so I just kept at it because it was a really good job, and my boss was really nice, but he could tell, and he was like, "Why are you limping?" And I didn't want to tell him, and he eventually was just like, "I don't want you to hurt yourself, so let's wait till we find out what's going on with you, and then we'll get you back in," which is what happened. And then eventually I just had to tell him, and I was like, "I can't do it." And he was like, "I think that's the best decision, that you don't do this job because it's going to hurt you." And the thing is, after those 2 shifts, I was sick, like flu-y sick, for about 4 days. And I asked the specialist about it, and he said, yeah, it's like exhaustion, it's overdoing it. To a normal person, that's not overdoing it, but to your body, it is. Which means that regular full-time person work might be a bit of a struggle for me.
Which also really upsets me, because I want to work. And it's because I need money to do the things that I want to do. I want to travel, I want to do Lolita events and go to Comic-Cons and things like that, and I need money for that, and I can't have money if I can't work. And obviously the government can help me, potentially, but the process for getting help from the government for being unwell is very difficult and really mean. I understand why it has to be, because people would just take advantage of the system otherwise, but I really don't want to go through that kind of process, and I might have to. So at the minute, I got into college. I was like, right, okay,
I want to be a primary school teacher, so I'm gonna do teacher training at uni, but I need to do a couple of things first. So I applied to college and I got in, and they boosted me to HNC level, which is cool, but they won't fund me. I had to apply for a loan to do it, and I thought, it's cool, I'll have my money sorted out, I can work part-time and do college, and that'll be cool, that won't be too stressful. But the course is 5 days a week, which only leaves the weekend to work, and the weekend alone is not enough to make up the kind of money that I need to pay my bills and everything. And even if I did work the whole weekend, I would have no days off, and then I would be really ill. And it's just like, the past couple of months have just been a mess with everything, and it's trying to find that balance where I can get things to work for me. So that's why there wasn't a video last week. I was both unwell and very unhappy, and I didn't want you guys to... You wouldn't have enjoyed a video with me like that, so... I was trying to work full-time and I was just getting sick constantly and exhausted constantly. After I had blood taken, I'll put up a picture, and I bruised like crazy. It's nearly gone. It's nearly gone now, but I am still ill. It was like 2 weeks ago that I had blood taken, and I'm still ill. My throat's been like glass, my glands have been crazy swollen, I've been sleeping just constantly, and yeah, so anyway. So I guess the question is now, how does this change things for me? I would like to say that it doesn't. I would like to try to make it not change that much, but I need to swallow my pride and accept that I will need help more. Excuse me. More than I've had before. I might have to accept help financially, which might mean that I have to put myself through the system, and I really don't want to do it, but it might have to be done. I need to pay for things, you know. I'm gonna have a lot of hospital trips. I'm being signed up for physio that I'm gonna do at the hospital once a week, apparently. They're giving me a therapist so I can talk about how I feel about this, and I'm getting a bunch of different medication that we're gonna experiment with to see if they help. And then the rest is on me just to kind of figure it out, make it work for me. So yeah guys, that's pretty much it. Diagnosis is that I'm flip-flopping between fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue. That they're essentially the same thing, just leaning on slightly different aspects. He says one of the most important things that I do are not get stressed and overwhelmed, because that makes it worse, and to work on getting better quality sleep, which means not getting stressed and overwhelmed as well. So yeah, I just kind of got to work on it and figure it out, and yeah, that's kind of it. I am relieved that I understand. I am relieved that I know. It sucks, but it's not like I haven't been living with it already. I just want to extend a quick apology to my patrons for last month. I didn't really get anything out last month at all, mainly because of all these hospital trips and being ill and the whole diagnosis stuff. I'm sorry guys. I should be back on top of it this month. It should be all back to normal and everything. It is in my mind, so yeah. How would you guys proceed with this if this were you? Maybe this is you. Maybe you have experienced this. I want to know, what are the things that you struggled to come to terms with? And how did you come to terms with them? Because I would like to know. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give it a like and a share and subscribe. And do comment, because I love your comments. Check out my Patreon in the links below. Would really help me out. And I will see you guys next time. Love.